This is what a high elo one-trick Aatrox looks like. Perfect spacing, hitting every single kill sweet spot and completely taking over the game. But this is what happened when I picked him up for the very first time. No damage, zero spacing, missing the easiest combos and getting absolutely clapped by a gold set. Honestly, my whole experience with this champ was only 3 games and it was a complete disaster. I had never really taken the champ seriously, read his abilities, jumped into practice 2 or anything like that. But I saw some Aatrox players that were 1v9 machines. So when my community voted for him, I wanted to see if I could do the same. Surprisingly, in my first games, I was already winning lane. I couldn't believe this happened so early, and unlike Rise, this champion won me over almost immediately.
Man, Aatrox is fun. I clicked with Aatrox. I'm gonna become main Aatrox.
The idea of the challenge is very simple. My Twitch community votes for a champion role. I take the most voted combination and then I lock myself in for 100 ranked games. Every triumph, every hard-hinted game, every guide I watch, and even every coaching session I get, everything is streamed. The ultimate goal is not to just play 100 games. The goal is to show the exact learning curve of the champion, figure out the macro of the role and see what it actually takes for a regular player like me to learn them. For this challenge, the community chose absolutely violence. A 1v9 machine, Aatrox top. From the very first moment, something was different from Rise. With Rise, the first impression of the champion was boring and useless. Pretty much a farming simulator. With Aatrox, while I was in the practice too, it already felt like a champion that wanted to fight.
Look at that. I'm liking it now.
I started this challenge at gold 2 60 LPs, and my initial prediction was that before I could get used to Aatrox, dropping to low gold or even high silver was a very real possibility. So before I entered rank, I did what I always do, searched for a quick 3-minute guide. But then someone in my chat who turned out to be a really good Aatrox player jumped into a call with me, and we spent almost an hour in practice 2. In that hour, I learned things that would have taken me a few games to figure out alone. Every kill is shorter than the last. The W exists so the next kills can connect. Kill flash mechanics, defensive usage of E in certain matchups, and other stuff that were really good to know before jumping to my first ranked game. By the end of that hour, I had the most dangerous combination possible. I knew too much to keep practicing and not enough to actually win. Then, the ranked games started and something really weird happened. Even when I was losing, even when I was dying to the same team mushroom for the 3rd time,
I'm dead.
The champion felt right. Don't get me wrong, the spacing was incredibly complicated, the kill sweet spots were hard to land, and I had absolutely no idea of what I was doing in teamfights. But every single time something clicked, even when it was just half the combo right, it felt incredibly satisfying.
I like it.
It was a completely different world from the Rise challenge. With Rise, mistakes felt miserable. With Aatrox, even the failures felt like a setup for a massive raid boss outplay. I was limit testing, trading constantly, and learning the hard way what this champ could do. Despite the grey screens and the classic top lane chaotic matchmaking, I was having more fun in League than I had in a long time.
I'm having fun against Timo.
I felt like I was actually playing a champion that could carry games. But as any top laner knows, having fun is a privilege that ranked usually takes away very quickly. I was beginning to feel and understand the struggle of top lane. And let me tell you, it was an absolute chaos. The Q chain I thought I mastered so quickly started falling apart under real pressure. My spacing was a disaster. I was playing Aatrox like a frontliner, constantly walking into enemies' range and taking trades I shouldn't take at all. And because top lane is an unforgiving island, every time I overextended, the enemy jungle was right there to punish me. The only good news was that I was learning exactly what not to do, which on top lane is honestly half the work to be done. By game 9, I got demoted to gold 3 and I realized that pride wasn't going to win me any LP. I needed help. So right after getting demoted, promoted, I managed to lock in a coaching session with a challenger player to look at my gameplay and tell me exactly what I was doing wrong. The very first thing we looked at was my setup, and to my surprise, we found out that even though Conqueror was the most common rune, the numbers were pointing out Electrocute and Grasp as better replacements. So we decided that I should switch to Electrocute and just see how it feels. Let me go ahead and anticipate this for you. I never played a different rune throughout the rest of the challenge. Also, right before we jumped into a game, he told me something that completely changed the way I played Aatrox.
That's right. The other thing I want to mention about Aatrox in terms of how he plays in team fights is that he's like not really a frontline, which just sounds funny. Or you don't really just run at the enemy team and start frontlining for your team. You know, like maybe as if you would like as an Udyr. Because if you try to frontline and you maybe get hooked by a Nautilus or something, you will just get one shot and die, right?
Then the moment of truth came, and while I was being live coached, I ended up having one of the best Aatrox games I have ever had.
No. The practice damage. You have to cover it.
I did everything right. I went for good trades, good combos, beautiful kills, perfect 1v2 that even my coach was surprised to see how I handled that.
Something tells me that I can 1v2 them.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay. You can do your thoughts as well. Yeah.
So, the coaching session taught me how to fix my spacing, but I was still struggling with a big deal on the top lane island, the matchups. Sett was an unkillable wall for me, and well, Garen gave me nightmares.
Oh, come on.
The deeper I went into these matchups, the more frustrated I became. So to cope with the stress of winning my lane but losing the match, I ended up building my own mental model for the role, a golden analogy. You can completely dominate your lane, execute flawless microplays, and stomp your laner. But if the rest of your team drops the ball, nothing matters. But despite the grey screens, the ranked emotion, and the brutal learning curve, something good was still happening. I was still genuinely having a blast playing Aatrox. The combos were hitting harder,
Okay, first blood.
and I knew it was only a matter of time before I actually cracked the code. As I kept grinding through the matches, there was a pattern I kept noticing game after game. I would win my lane and even sometimes completely stomp the enemy top, but then the enemy jungle would show up and ruin everything. Not once, not twice, every single game. I was getting camped so hard, I seriously started to think that junglers were just deeply in love with me.
Oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know. Why is that happening? Like, what the heck? Come on. Why do I have to play 1v2 on top?
The most frustrating part about this wasn't even the constant ganks. It was the fact that I was playing better than ever and I was still unable to translate that to wins. The combos were cleaner, the predictions of what was going to happen were starting to land.
If I hit Q1 on him, he's dead because I have Ignite. There you go. Good.
I just felt like I was the best Aatrox US, but the games? Well, the games were not reflecting that. No matter how hard I won my lane, I couldn't figure out how to spread my lead to the rest of the map. And by game 45, the frustration completely boiled over and I hit absolute rock bottom.
Even though I'm enjoying the chap a lot, I feel like the role is just useless and I don't know. I don't even know what to look for.
So, at game 45, I had another coaching session. This time, Coach Chips provided a VOD review of 5 of my Aatrox games. I didn't actually knew what I was doing wrong. I was just truly believing in that toxic win lane lose game mentality.
This Garen deserves to win. I destroyed him. Look at my damage. It was most damage. I got S+. Yes!
But this session helped me a lot to understand more about the top lane macro and also gave me an amazing tip on how to play Aatrox better. There were two key points I understood. First one is Aatrox is basically a ranged champion. Think about it. Your Qs have range. Your W has range. You don't need to be in melee range to deal damage. And if you are too close to the target, you actually make it harder to execute your kit. So, stop playing Aatrox like a bruiser walking into fights and start playing him like a range carry who happens to have a frontline's health bar. The second thing was I needed to learn the flanking mindset. I have to use my TPs to spread my lead across the map, not to just compensate for bad recalls. As soon as I have TP, my job is to appear where the enemy doesn't expect me. With 2 sessions in, I finally understood what Aatrox was supposed to be.
Oh my god. How good is this Aatrox?
All this time, I was looking at Aatrox the wrong way. I have learned that Aatrox is a carry that wants to flank. A really tanky one, sure, but a carry. And carries don't win games by soaking damage. They win games by making the right plays at the right moment. Game 5th taught me this in the most frustrating way possible. I absolutely dominated my lane. I killed Garen and then I killed him again, but in the end, it didn't matter. Garen still won the game. I had to work hard on the task of learning how to spread my lead across the map instead of stomping my lane but never leaving top. By game 66, the hard work finally paid off. My win rate climbed from a struggling 52% all the way up to a dominant 55%. For the first time in this entire challenge, I wasn't just surviving, I was actually starting to control it. At this point, the real problem of the challenge finally hit me. The problem was my top lane macro. I was winning my lanes consistently, but I didn't know what to do with the lead. The answer came gradually, and honestly, it changed absolutely everything for the rest of the challenge. I completely stopped treating my teleport like a boring safety net to just run back to lane and catch some minion waves. Instead, I started using it as a literal weapon. The new rule was simple. The exact second I got ahead, I unlocked the map. Appear bot lane, flank mid lane, become an absolute nightmare on the entire map. Combining my lead with my team pressure, top lane suddenly stopped feeling useless. With this strategy, I began winning games so much that in the next 18 games, I had a staggering 80% win rate. And then, on game 76, it finally happened. I reached Platinum. In the Rise challenge, reaching a new rank felt like surviving. But with Aatrox, it felt like arriving. And somewhere between game 80 and 95, a massive shift happened inside my head. I completely stopped feeling like a regular player who was just trying to learn Aatrox for a video, and I started feeling like a true Aatrox main. My confidence was so real that I was outplaying flash dodges, crushing 1v2s, and making enemy teamos completely rage quit. Even when I got frustrated by the constant camping,
So fun.
the enemy team literally couldn't do anything against me. I was tracking the map perfectly, capitalizing on every single mistake, flanking like an absolute demon, and executing plays exactly how I said I would.
If I kill 3 flash ignite, he's dead. Now, he's dead. There you go.
By the time I reached game 95, the confidence was so real that the universe decided to test me.
Okay, listen. Okay,
I'm
John,
listening.
We
That's
have
me.
to make them FF. We have to.
Said
They
what?
said if they FF 15, I'll gift like 20 subs.
20 subs on the line? Oh, it was on. I told them to get ready.
Whoever promised 20 subs there, gift subs, you gotta be preparing your wallet, take already your credit card out, note down the numbers, because you're gonna pay for that.
And guess what happened? We crushed them, but they didn't FF at 15. Sadly, it was a little bit later than that.
19 minutes!
4 minutes late! 4 minutes late! Are you kidding me?
They still gift 5 subs though, so that was nice. But ranked always finds a way to keep your feet on the ground. Just when I thought I learned everything, the last 10 games of the challenge absolutely humbled me. I ended up the challenge with 7 losses in 10 games. And just like that, my win rate dropped from a proud 55% straight down to 51%. And yet, I know exactly what I need to fix. My lane phase trades. With my dangerous level of confidence, I'm making my lane phase much more volatile than it actually needs to be. I need to do some small adjustments, take fewer unnecessary risks, and have more patience in the early levels. So, 100 games later, what is the final result? Honestly, Aatrox was way easier to pick it up than I initially expected. He's incredibly rewarding, deeply satisfying, and has some of the cleanest 1v9 carry potential in the game. I would definitely recommend him to anyone. As for top lane itself, it's a brutal, punishing island. If you fall behind even a little bit, the snowball effect will completely destroy you. At the end of the day, your macro management matters much more than the actual champion you are playing. The challenge is officially over, but my journey with the Darkin Blade is definitely not.
Love the champ. I am like, now that I finish, I'm gonna start playing Aatrox on my main account as a jungler, because I'm a main jungler and I pretty much only play jungle on my main account. Now I'm gonna start picking Aatrox jungle, because that's how much I fell in love with the champ.
And if you like to follow this challenge live, I stream them most days of the week on Twitch and here on YouTube, so feel free to hop in.